Okay, hi, good day, guys. Welcome to today on Princess Anu TV. Hope you all are doing fine and great. And also, welcome to today's class. Oh, I'm going to call it like a discussion, a discussion series because, like I said, it's not really a class. I'm kind of like doing some revisions, and so I'm asking you guys to like join me along. And I've been getting good responses, which is giving me so much need and happiness to kind of continue in this revision. So in today's discussion, we're going to be talking about more about the Tropopause, because I talked about Tropopause just a little yesterday, and we're going to be answering 5 questions, which are the 5 questions that I've already selected out in this. And I did kind of like a random selection of these 5 questions. We're going to be doing question 1, question 6, question 10, question 16, and question 24 and 36. So correction, we're going to be answering 6 good questions in today's classes or in today's episode of the meteorology. And in case you're wondering the book I'm using for my revision, I'm kind of using the Oxford. So I know I gave you guys the JAA CAA books, but I'm personally using the Oxford. I'm going to be displaying it on the screen so that you can see the way the Oxford looks like. And in case you're new here and you don't know me, I'm Princess Anu, and yeah, I'm a student pilot, a commercial pilot license holder as of this time. And yes, we've been at home for a very long time, and so we are trying to catch up in things that we have lost. And I hope you join us in today's edition, episode 2 of meteorology. And like you know, this channel is all about aviation, motivation, and adventure. And if you've not subscribed, please do me a favor, click on the subscribe button and click on the bell so that whenever I post just any video, you'll be able to see it. Let's move over, guys, to today's job for what we have today. Like yesterday, I was telling you guys about the different layers of the atmosphere, which we talked about the troposphere, we talked about the stratosphere, and we talked about mesosphere and thermosphere. All these are the layers of the atmosphere. But yesterday I also pointed out to you guys that we also have kind of like an imaginary boundary, which is called the tropopause. And in this tropopause, there's a reason why we always talk about the tropopause, because in the troposphere, as you keep going higher, temperature begins to decrease. Just like you always hear, the higher you go, the cooler it becomes. So that's what happens. The more you keep going higher in the sky, everywhere becomes cooler. But at this tropopause, it stops. So everything kind of stops here. Everything that kind of happens here and here stops here in terms of temperature. And that's why it's very, very important that we study about these tropopause. And basically, most of the 6 questions we're going to be answering today is about the tropopause. So guys, if you're looking at the note projected just on the screen, you're going to see that the definition of the tropopause here is that the tropopause is the top of the troposphere. It marks the boundary between the troposphere and the next atmospheric layer, which is the troposphere and the stratosphere. So it's kind of like this boundary between the troposphere and the stratosphere. There's also something about this tropopause which is very, very important. The tropopause is defined as a part that is defined as being the part of the atmosphere where temperature no longer decreases with height, which is something very, very important. So we're going to be going over to our questions, because this is majority of what we need to know about the tropopause today in this episode 2. So let's kick over to the questions. Like I said, I've selected the questions, so we'll just go over it one after the other. I want you to think about the things I've said today. And don't forget, I also need to point out something to you about this troposphere. Like I told you yesterday, we basically fly in the troposphere and the stratosphere, because of how all these other ones are really not very, very important. That's the mesosphere, the thermosphere, and sometimes they even include the exosphere. They are really not that important in aviation, because nobody goes like this high. You understand? We basically stop around 65,000 feet and thereabout, except spaceships. And all the spaceships, rockets, and all that, those are the ones that are kind of like go like high and high. But aircrafts and civil aviation aircrafts, and even military aircrafts, they kind of move just around the troposphere and the stratosphere. So let's answer the questions so that you can get to understand what we are going to be talking about today. So under the atmosphere, we're just going to be answering not calculation questions now. We're going to be answering those 6 questions that I pointed out. So, number one question that we can see here: which one of the following statements apply to the tropopause? So let's look at the options together. And it says A, it is by definition an isothermal layer. Okay, that kind of looks a little bit close, but I'm sure that's not going to be the answer. It indicates a strong temperature lapse rate. C, it is by definition a temperature inversion. D, it separates the troposphere from the stratosphere. And guys, see what I was talking about, objective questions. You can see that most of these questions are kind of like very close or similar to each other. So you have to like think very, very well to be able to know what is the actual answer to this question. Personally, for most of these answers, I already like ticked before I even went to like score myself. So I want you to kind of pick. I'm going to give you some minutes. Just pick yours and think about it based on what we've talked about today. What can be the answer to this number one question? And I'm going to be picking D, obviously, because it separates the troposphere from the stratosphere. That's what the tropopause basically does. But let's look at other options. Like A, it is by definition an isothermal layer. No, it is not. B, it indicates a strong temperature lapse rate. It kind of indicates, in fact, this is where it fails, temperature like fails to increase with increasing height. But sorry, fails to decrease with increasing height. But you can't pick that because you have a better option there, which says it separates the troposphere from the stratosphere. So sometimes in objective questions, it's about what is the best answer, especially in meteorology, guys. I learned this the hard way in CPL phase. It's about what is the best answer to this particular question. It's not really about, okay, this one is answer, that one is answer, and you just pick anything. So let's move over to the next question I selected for today, number 6 question. The tropopause is a level at which A, water vapor content is greatest. B, pressure remains constant. C, vertical currents are strongest. D, temperature ceases to fall with increasing height. What's going to be the answer for this? Don't forget, in the Oxford questions, after you answer the questions, you are going to be seeing the answers at the last part of the question. But before you go to the answers, I'm going to advise you pick your answer first before you go to the answer section, so that it sticks, so that you get to understand what is going on, because that is going to be your best bet. Now, based on what we've said, temperature ceases to fall with increasing height. So it's at this point that temperature ceases to fall with increasing height. So definitely the answer here is still D. Now, the next question. Let's move over to number 10 question. What is the boundary layer between troposphere and the stratosphere called? What is the boundary layer? Guys, this is very, very obvious. What's the boundary layer between the troposphere and the stratosphere? It's obviously the tropopause. So let's go and look for, yeah, we have the tropopause there. We have ionosphere, stratosphere, and atmosphere. No, it's definitely A, because that is the tropopause. It's the boundary layer between the troposphere and the stratosphere. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section. We are going to keep discussing. Like I said, I'm not an instructor, so that you don't keep thinking. So guys, let's move over to number 16 question. Yeah, because I listed the ones that I feel okay we should answer based on the things we talked about today. Number 16 question reads, the troposphere is the A, part of the atmosphere below the tropopause. Okay, let's look at it. The troposphere is part of the atmosphere below the tropopause. It makes sense. Let's see if we can get any other one. Part of the atmosphere above the stratosphere. No, part of the atmosphere above the stratosphere is the mesosphere, and that's one word you're asking for. C is boundary between the mesosphere and the thermosphere. The boundary between the mesosphere and the thermosphere is definitely not the troposphere. And lastly, the boundary between the stratosphere and the mesosphere. The boundary between the stratosphere and the mesosphere is not the troposphere. So the answer is A, which is part of the atmosphere below the tropopause. The part of the atmosphere below the tropopause. And trust me, check your answers. It's going to be very, very correct. Yeah, it's going to be very, very correct. 4. That's the next one we're going to be answering today, number 24. So yeah, we talked about this yesterday, and now we're answering a question on it. What is the approximate composition of dry air by a volume by volume in the troposphere. And don't forget, we talked about the percentage where we talked about oxygen, nitrogen, carbon dioxide, which includes other gases like argon and those neon and those other ones. But the majority, don't forget, it's nitrogen 78%, oxygen 21%, then other gases just 1% to make sure it's 100%. So if you look at the options, what do you think is going to be the best bet? This one is very, very easy, because A, we have 50% oxygen, 40% nitrogen, and the rest other gases. That's so wrong. B is 21% oxygen, 78% nitrogen, rest other gases. This is very, very correct. But let's see if they have any other dicey options. C, 10% oxygen. That's wrong. D, 88% oxygen. That is also very, very wrong. So sometimes you can even do elimination methods to know what is the right option or the best option for whatever you are trying to answer. Then lastly, let's move over to question 36. That's the sixth question we're going to answer today. Then tomorrow we are going to do a little bit calculation. Calculation always wastes time, but like I said, I'm going to keep the videos as short as possible so that you guys don't like crack your brains too much. You just like get the points and move over to the next episode. So let's move. Question 36. Which of the layer of the atmosphere contains more than 90% of all water vapor? This is going to be a left answer. I'm not going to be telling you the answer. I want you to leave the answer in the comment section of this video, and we are going to be discussing in the next episode. I'm going to announce the first maybe 2 or 3 persons that got the answer. So till I see you guys in the next episode, yeah, I'm revising this period, and I'm happy that you're joining me in this revision. If you've not yet subscribed to the channel, do well to subscribe. Subscription is very, very much free. You don't have to pay anything to subscribe, and don't forget to give a like and a thumbs up to this video because it helps the channel move forward. Till I see you in the next video, in the next episode of Learn with Princess Anu. Bye guys.